Hello viewers, today we are going to read the very first poem of class 8, that is The Ant and the Cricket, the most interesting creatures on the earth. This poem is a fable. Let's know that what is a fable. A fable is an imaginary or fictional short story where the animals serve as a character and they teach us a moral lesson. This fable is adapted from Aesop's fable. Aesop was a great fabulist. Fabulist is a person who composed the fables. Fables where through the animals or any object where they are humanized and the highlighted problem is solved through them. The author is giving a message to the common public that they must not behave like that. So here he has credited a number of fables and the collection of it is called Aesop's fable, and this poem is one of the collection of Aesop's fables. So before starting the poem, I would like to tell you that who is ant and who is the cricket. I think you all have seen the cricket and the ant in your surroundings, but in spite of that we will discuss it. The ant is an insect that lives and works in a large colony of ants. So ant is a creature who works very hard, who plan for the future, and every time they work in team. They never work alone. This is their specialty. They don't have wings, but they have stings. Next we will come to know about the cricket. Cricket is just similar to a grasshopper. What is the difference? The difference is that if you can see in the picture, the grasshopper is of green color and the cricket is of brown color. So they have identical personality, but the color of their body is different. So now let's know about the poem. As I already told you that this poem is a fable where the two interesting characters of the earth, the ant and the cricket, are serving as human beings and they are giving a moral lesson to the people. The poem, however, through a teeny tiny ant, teaches us a significant lesson for life. And what is the lesson? And the lesson is that many people are there in the society who doesn't do work hard, who make marry and just live leisurely. They don't plan for the future. And these people have to suffer very awkward situation and very humiliating situation. So in this way, the author would like to give you the message that we must plan for the future. We must be bold like an ant, where ants work very hard, plan for the future and is happy in comparison of other creatures. So we must be like the ant, we must not be like the cricket. Here in the poem, the author had depicted that there are four-legged cricket and there are two-legged crickets. Two-legged cricket are symbolizing the human beings. So let's have an explanation of the poem. A silly young cricket, accustomed to sing through the warm, sunny months of gay summer and spring, began to complain when he found that at home his cupboard was empty and winter was come. Not a crumb to be found on the snow-covered ground. Not a flower could be seen, not a leaf on a tree. Oh, what will become, says the cricket, of me? So the word meanings I had written on the board. Let's accustomed to, where used to do that or in the habit of singing. Gay means carefree, where he is thoughtless, he doesn't care for anything. Next is crumb. Crumb is a piece of bread, either cake or biscuits. Let's see the explanation. A silly young cricket. So the poem is introduced with a foolish and thoughtless cricket who did not think for the future, who is a fun-loving creature. Every time he used to enjoy the nature, he did not think for the future. Accustomed to sing. Accustomed means to say that he was in the habit of singing every time through the warm sunny months of gay summer and spring. You know, in the season of summer and spring. There is plenty of food around us. If we will see the nature, everything is blooming. There are a lot of leaves and flowers on the tree. So the cricket need not to worry. He was totally enjoying the weather in the hot summer and spring season. So he was finding a plenty of food. He did not store anything for the future. He was not worried about the future. Began to complain when he found that at home his cupboard was empty and winter was come. Now the time came when the summer season and the spring season have come to an end. And now winter season started and he did not store anything. Now he had nothing to eat. He found his cupboard empty and he started complaining at that what would I eat as nothing wasn't stored to him. Not a crumb to be found on the snow-covered ground, as the winter season was there and ground was covered with the snow. In the snow-covered ground, the leaves, the trees, all things are covered with the snow. So he did not find anything. So not even a single piece of bread, cake or any leaf, nothing he was finding in the snow-covered ground. There was no flower on the trees. The flowers had fallen down in the winter season and not a leaf on the tree also. So he said that, now what will happen to me? What would I eat? How would I survive? That was the worry of him. So the first paragraph is completed. I had given you few of the questions related to that. What was a young cricket accustomed to do? The young cricket was accustomed to sit. Likewise that these are very small answers. So these you have to practice. Let's see the second paragraph. Let's have a look on word meanings. Starvation. Starvation means die of hunger. Famine, that is shortage of food. Bold. Bold, that is courageous. Trembling, shivering as a result of anxiety, excitement and weakness. Miserly. Here this word is used for the teeny tiny ants. So here its meaning is small, but actually miserly means a person who possesses much but hate to spend. In Hindi what we call that is kanjoos. At last by starvation and famine made bold. So now he was dying of hunger. He had shortage of food. He had nothing to eat. It made him bold that if I will not do anything now, then what would I eat? So that made him courageous. All dripping with wet, all trembling with cold. Sometimes it happened that in the season of winter, the rain occurred. So water was dripping from his wet body and he was shivering with cold. Because there was no shelter, there was no food, he did not eat anything, he did not have home to stay anywhere. Away he set off to a miserly ant. Now he decided to move to the small ant for help. To keep him alive, he would grant him shelter from rain. One thing I would like to tell you that in this poem, both the ant and the cricket are made. So he set off to the ant so that he would provide him the shelter, he would provide him a mouthful of grain, a handful of grain so that he can survive, he can stay in the shelter leisurely. He wished only to borrow. He did not do any hard work in the summer and spring season. Now he wished to borrow only. He would repay it tomorrow. If not, he must die of starvation and sorrow. He promised that he would repay it, he would return it if he would be survived through the hunger and sorrow. So these are the MCQs which you have to do it yourself. What made the cricket bold? The starvation and famine made the cricket bold. Let's see the third paragraph. The word meanings: lay nothing by, that is save nothing. Quoth is an old English word which means said. So like means very delighted. His heart was very delighted. Gay means carefree and cheerful. Let's see the stanza. Says the ant to the cricket, I am your servant and friend. So while the cricket was asking for help, for the shelter, for the food, so the ant replied that, no doubt we consider you our friend, and I can serve you as a friend, as a servant. But we ants never borrow, we ants never lend. You know, in the beginning of the poem, I told you that ants are very hardworking and these are the creatures of principle. And what is their principle of life? That they never borrow, they never lend. Lend means udhar dena, borrow means udhar lena. It means they plan for the future, they plan their activities, they do the hard work, they work in team, and they don't borrow something from others, they don't lend to others. That is the principle of their life, and we must learn this principle from the ants. But tell me, dear cricket, did you lay nothing by when the weather was warm? It means while the weather was on its charm. Then you did not save anything? That question was asked by the ant to the cricket. What did you save for you, dear cricket? While all the resources and food were available in the nature. Caught the cricket not, my heart was so delighted that I sang day and night. Caught, it means the cricket replied, he said that, not I. Nothing I had saved for the future. At that time my heart was so light. It means to say that I was very delightful and my heart was so happy that I sang the whole day, the whole night. For all nature looked gay, you sang, sir, you say. So he said that at that time nature seems very cheerful to me. It seems to me that it is saying to me, you sang, sir, you say anything. Go then, says the ant, and dance the winter away. Now, this dance word is sarcastic here, where the ants would like to teach a lesson to the cricket that while the resources were available at that time in the summer season, you sang very well. So, in winter season also, you just enjoy merrymaking and dance in the winter season. And waste the time. What did the ant tell the cricket? The ant told the cricket that they never borrow, they never lend. That is the principle of their life. So likewise these questions also you have to prepare. Now the last stanza. The word meanings are hastily, quickly or hurriedly. Fox means people. Warrants means justifier. Two-legged cricket symbolizes here human beings. Lifted the wicket means to say that put an end to the conversation. Now let's have a look on the last stanza. Thus ending, he hastily lifted the wicket. So the ants replied to the cricket that he must dance in the winter season. After saying this, he quickly lifted the wicket means to say that put an end to the conversation. Then out of the door turned the poor little cricket. He threw the poor cricket out of the door. Fox called this a fable, I will warrant it true. Now the poet is saying that fox means people. People call this a fable, that is imaginary and untrue story. But the poet has different opinion. He said that this story is very true and educative, as many people are there in the society who serve as a cricket. Here the cricket represents the lazy people who never work hard in their life and after that they regret for their habit. Some cricket have 4 legs and some have 2. So the 4-legged cricket who do not work hard, they also have to suffer. The 2-legged cricket here symbolizes for the lazy people, those who don't want to work hard and suffer in the future. The the poet wants to tell that there are many people who don't plan their activities, who just earn the money and spend it at once. They don't plan for the future, and after that they have to regret on their habit. Through the poem, the poet wants to give us the message that we must work hard, we must plan for our activity, we must save for the future, and only then we can be happy in our life and we can live our life successfully. So this is the vocabulary. We have to match the word meanings. Accustomed, that is habit. Gain means happy. Crumb, piece of wood. Starvation, feel hungry. Famine, scarcity of food. Warrant, quote, said. Warrant, to say, true. So all these word meanings are done. So at last, there is a central idea of the poem, which I already told you, that the cricket represents the human being who are not wise enough to save for the future. So we must not like the cricket, we must be like the ants, we must be hardworking, we must plan for our future and plan our activities also and save for the future. Only then we can lead a comfortable and happy life. Now we will discuss the rhyme scheme of the first stanza. Rhyme scheme where the last word of each line sounds the same. The first line last word is sing, that is A. Sing and spring sounds the same, that is the last word of second line, so that it will also be A. The last word of third line is home, the last word of fourth line is come. Home and come, M-E, that sounds the same, that we will give the name B. Then found and ground, that is C. C, tree. And this line also will come in first paragraph. So we are writing me, that is C, tree, me sounds the same, that is D. So the rhyme scheme of first stanza is A, B, C, D. So at last we will discuss the poetic devices used in the poem. First one is personification, where human attributes are given to non-living things or animals. So here the ant and the cricket are personified. The poet has pronounced them as he. Next is alliteration. Alliteration is the repetition of initial consonant sounds in the closely connected words. So here, if we will see that you sang, sir, you say. S sound is repeated in this sentence. Next is summer and spring. Again, S sound is repeated. Metaphor is there where direct comparison is there without using as or like in two unlike things. So here, two-legged cricket represents the human beings who are very lazy and don't want to do the work. One more is there, that is repetition. If we will see that he ants never, that is repeated. He word is repeated in the second paragraph and not word is repeated in the first paragraph and consecutive 2 lines. So that's all about the poem. I revised the poem with the questions. Thank you and have a nice day.